is Sunday, September 9th of the year 1739, and a group of 23 African American slaves are gathered near the Stono River, about 20 miles to the southwest of the city of Charleston, South Carolina. The group then proceeded to march down the road with a banner inscribed with the word Liberty. When the group got to the Stono River Bridge, they attacked a store, killing 2, and armed themselves for the march south to freedom. Since the early 1700s, a majority of the colony of South Carolina's population was made up of enslaved Africans. The British Empire had introduced the plantation system to the 13 colonies in South Carolina in the late 1600s, and Carolinian rice and cotton plantations were dominant during this period, using a workforce made up largely of enslaved Africans from modern Angola. South Carolina had become a society where slavery was central to its economy by the early 1700s. South Carolinian colonists made deals with Georgia, which did not institutionalize slavery until 1751. They still had slaves there, however, to return captured slaves that escaped. But Spanish Florida offered freedom to any escaped slaves that made it there, with the settlement of Fort Mose near St. Augustine being established to house these refugees. Jemmy Cato was likely born in modern Angola, then the Kingdom of Congo, as he was described as such. Jemmy was Catholic and likely spoke Portuguese. It is believed Jemmy might have been a soldier, along with several others in a group that would later stage an uprising. In the lead up to the revolt, an epidemic of malaria swept through Charleston, killing many among the white population and temporarily weakening the hold of the slaveholders. A group of around 22 slaves gathered near the Stono River on September 9, 1739, led by Jemmy, to launch their bid for freedom. The group marched down the river and attacked a store, killing 2 and arming themselves for the coming march to Florida. Along the way, they freed more slaves, eventually numbering around 81. The group burned a total of 6 plantations, killing somewhere between 23 and 28 slave owners. South Carolina's Lieutenant Governor, William Bull, happened across the group and galloped away to rally a militia of unknown number, but likely under 100. The next day, the militia, which was mounted on horseback, caught up with the rebels. When the militia came, the rebels attempted to hold their line, but many fled, with those who remained being killed on the spot or captured and executed, with Jemmy being among this group. Their heads were cut off and mounted on stakes. 44 in total died in this way. Those who fled were tracked down and sold off to a worse fate in the West Indies. In the next few years following the Stono Rebellion, several other slave uprisings occurred independently in both Georgia and South Carolina. This caused slave owners to begin to believe that developing a population of slaves born into slavery, rather than those who knew freedom, was a way to reduce slave uprisings. Acts were also passed by South Carolinian legislature prohibiting slaves from growing their own food, assembling, earning money, or even learning to read. These, among several other restrictions, remained until the abolition of slavery following the Civil War. Thanks for watching.